try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me.
What's up, digital currency world? This is CryptoWatch. Finally, we're back after 2 weeks, and let's get right into some stories. Let me lay it out for you. We're going to talk about some cryptocurrency groups that are forming to self-regulate themselves. We got Hong Kong investors preferring U.S. exchanges, and we could probably get into Western Union flirting with Ripple technology, and a couple other things along with my co-host, Sir Rick Rock. Let's get into some crypto talk right now.
What's happening, crypto noobs and crypto junkies? I'm back. This is Sir Rick Rock. How we doing, Sky Vision?
Hey, I'm doing okay, man. We've been 2 weeks, kind of a long. I think it's longer than 2 weeks that it's been. This news is getting kind of old now. What we
It's been a little bit. But at least we can update everybody on what's going on in this crypto world. You know, us with a Crypto Watch, looking out for everyone. Kind of keep everybody updated.
All right, so quick update on our show. We finally have our official YouTube channel. It's called CryptoTalkbyCryptoWatch that you can subscribe to, and feel free to leave a comment, give us a like, and also, as you can see, we're easing our way into video format of our podcast. Not quite there yet. We don't have a full studio, but we have Sir Rick Rock here, ready and willing to show his face here for you folks. There you go. All right, so let's dive right in. So in our first episode that we did a few weeks ago now, we were focusing on the SEC and CFTC hearing with the Senate Banking Committee, and we were focusing on regulation. And you made an interesting point about if a superpower country would make the first move, then it would create a ripple effect for other countries to kind of start joining in and copying what, in this case, the U.S. After following that hearing, it seems like there's some groups forming that kind of want to regulate themselves because of the failure from their part of the world to regulate cryptocurrency. I know you have more information on that. Want to go ahead and talk about that and give us a quick summary on that?
Well, you're going to start having, again, that ripple effect, right? Now you have the IMF trying to regulate crypto or the exchange or exchanges. I don't know, but we'll go ahead and talk about that topic in a bit. So you have 7 different exchanges that are volunteered to be part of this group called the UK Crypto that are gonna sit down and help regulate. I'm assuming exchanges, not crypto, because I don't know if you could regulate crypto or Bitcoin. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of a little familiar about that story. It's about seven of the top investment firms for crypto that they kind of like. To me, it seems like they like the idea of what's going on over here with our regulation committees because of the safety. And a lot of these investment firms are putting in a lot of money, and they want to be able to, and they know they can lose all that money just because of fraud, or they might fall for a lot of the FUD that's going on right now. You know, these phony ICOs that will cause them to invest into the wrong thing, and they're gone. There's nothing really to help them, and that's really the SEC's primary focus on here, to cut down on all these fraud ICOs, because without that you can just lose your money. And you're right, I think the ripple effect is just starting, and these groups are like, well, our government's not going to do anything, so we're just going to regulate ourselves. And that leads into, I think it's Crypto UK, right?
Yeah, and if you think about it, that's kind of a good idea. Versus just having one, you said, the government just regulating it itself. Now you have the crypto side, go ahead and expressing their ideas or how they want to regulate it, which I think it's a pretty good idea, which again, it's going to help that price go up for everybody to start accepting it once these rules come in play.
No, yeah, I definitely think that will help. At least it'll help stabilize the price. And I think it's interesting to see what country would be the next one to follow up, and what other groups might be forming. And this leads to this quick story, summary story from Bitcoinist regarding Hong Kong investors preferring U.S. exchanges because of the lack of regulation on their end of the world. There, I think they fall under China's jurisdiction, but their regulators don't see cryptocurrency as real currency. They see it more as a commodity. So these firms are saying, well, fine, then we're not going to invest in these really high risk exchanges over there in Asian countries. So now they're preferring to opt out for U.S. exchanges, if you want to call it something like Binance or Coinbase. So the hearing definitely did cause a ripple effect, and now we have this Crypto UK or UK Crypto. I think it's Crypto UK, right? That's what it's called. Okay, Crypto.
Correct.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next, because I think you are right on that one. You hit it right on the money, as far as other, in this case, groups, but other countries following what the superpower is going to be doing next.
Yeah, and I thought, playing devil's advocate, it's a good idea, it's being regulated, but then, we want to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand at the end of the day. Like, for example, now you have Venezuela, creating their own coin. They raised, I believe, $750 million, I believe, their first day. And they're basically saying it's called Petro coin, which is backed up by oil. And they're using it to kind of go around the sanction that United States kind of put on them. Again, that's my opinion. It's something that maybe they're trying to do to stimulate their economy. And then now you have Iran doing the same thing. Maybe to go around the sanctions, and you also have Turkey talking about it as well, and so on. No, and now we have to look at regulating. How would that impact those countries? For example, Venezuela creating this coin, and they're going to create another coin. It's going to call Petro Gold, which is how do you stop that? Do you regulate that? Do you let that country do that when they've already put all these sanctions on them? That's probably maybe another episode. Maybe an hour's length, but it's kind of a quick topic real quick too.
Yeah, and there's no jurisdiction as far as trying to keep a country from creating their own cryptocurrency. And Venezuela was brought up in that hearing along with Russia, and one of the topics was, are they a concern because of their creating that cryptocurrency as well, because they're opting out to use their own cryptocurrency, their own form of currency to get by the U.S. Sanctions. And by the way, isn't that based off Ethereum's blockchain technology, the ER20 coin or something like that? So they're being really into it, like using a big player like Ethereum, using that ER20 coin. That probably would worry the U.S. When these not so friendly countries with us are really stepping up and using this new blockchain technology. And leading up to that, they're not the only countries that are trying to create their cryptocurrencies. You have more information about that, right? More of these more third world, I don't want to say poor countries, but more third world.
Well, both buying like Zimbabwe did it, and again, I touched the bases on Turkey, Iran. You mentioned Russia, and then you have Venezuela. Like you start thinking about that, and then they're like maybe the test run or the pilot, and then you never know. You might have other countries they might start doing it themselves to help to stimulate their economy.
Do you think that's a good idea? Would that work for them if they decide to use that as their main form of currency? And how much value you think that can hold up, especially when there's not already much, in terms of backing or power for that nation? Do you think that's going to work out in the long run? Kind of like what's the whole premises behind all of that? What are the plans for the future if they decide to use that as their main form of cryptocurrency, as their currency?
That's the positive pros on why they're trying to do it. Stimulate the economy. It might help in poverty. You never know. It's stuff like that. But then devil's advocate on the other end is then you have maybe countries taking advantage of the price, of making it go up and down, just manipulating the price of their coin. That's the part you have to regulate. That's the part you have to keep an eye on. Is not helping out the people. It's actually regulating governments not to take advantage of the situation that actually is made there to help people.
I mean, that makes sense. There's got to be something needs to be done. I guess they see it as a good way to improve. Just kind of like how investors here or anywhere around the world are trying to kind of use the volatility of the market to improve their situation, right? We're just going to go back.
I believe crypto.
And just going back to what we were talking about earlier, and I have a quote here. There's a story by Market Watch that over there in Europe, there's the European Central Bank that runs the show, we could say, over there, and they're pretty much saying that it's not the ECB's responsibility to ban or regulate Bitcoin, and they have a few reasons. One of them is for lack of tangible backing, it's a gamble, and the excessive volatility in the market, which there's no argument there that is true, but just wanted to point that out real quick again, that it's Coinbase is part of the 7 companies forming that Crypto UK group. Yeah, and with that, I think we should move on to the next segment, if you don't mind. Let's move right along. Let's get into what the state of the market is now. Every podcast, every crypto show has it, but it's very important. We need to know where we stand from the last time we were talking till now. What has changed, if anything? What are the inconsistencies, I think is what we want to touch upon right now. Go ahead and take it away, Mr. Rick Locke.
Last time we had a episode, we were talking about a couple of things that created the FUD. We had China talking about, are they in and out with Bitcoin? Then you have Korea, they were undecisive. Right. Different things were going on. Last time we spoke about Bitcoin or about crypto, you had the market cap space go from 850 billion to 350 billion. Now it's back up to 450 billion.
That's a big stuff.
Market has settled. Crypto went back to, it went up to 11,000. Right now it's actually around 10,300. My projection, it probably end up going around 8,900, and settle there for a bit, and then go back up again. Because if you look at a couple of seasonings in the last couple of years, you might look at patterns of what happens in crypto. You have crypto that go through phases, like maybe the stock market or the housing market. There's times that it goes up and it goes down. So if you look at the last couple of years, I believe the summer is when crypto starts having good outcomes. So I believe you start noting that.
So you think there's like a correlation between the two, or you think it's just looking at patterns and seeing if they work the same way?
I think with both. You always want to be smart. You want to look at what's going on with the world in crypto. But we're here for you because that's what we're called Crypto Watch. We'll update you with everything that's going on.
Yes. We're here on Crypto Talk right now.
And then we'll go. You want to look at all the media, what's going on, but not the regular FUD media. You want to be smart and just do your own homework. And we'll go ahead and update you there as well. And also look at patterns. Of what the crypto world has done the last couple of years, and you'll see maybe it talks to almost the same story.
You can see graphs of Bitcoin over the years, how it dips down and then it goes back up, and then it happens maybe a couple times a year where you can see the drop, and then of course it steadily raises up again. And the time periods, it's crazy when you look at the graphs, because the time period, it's almost the same. It happens about two times a year, and it always, when it dips off, it always states, I call it the state, like what state it's the market state, or at least Bitcoin. It stays just a little higher than it was before. Even though there was a dip, it's still at a higher rate. And yeah, I did hear that from a colleague of mine. We were discussing Bitcoin a few weeks ago, but it's just amazing how identical the graphs are year after year after year.
Right. So my opinion, it's the new hands are coming in. The more and more time passes by, my opinion, you have smarter money coming in. For example, people that are more experienced. The newbies start getting a little bit more experience, and then you have the guys that are there for long term, and then all these new people start holding up the price, and that's the reason why it's going to start going up and up and up, and then start settling at 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, maybe. I don't know, but if you look at patterns, it might happen that way.
That makes sense. And I also wanted to ask, because there's so many stories that come out all the time, like every day and every week, it's hard to sometimes decipher between what's real and what's fake. How do you know when one of these ICOs are just trying to promote themselves, and instead that they're doing all these wonderful things and being backed by big companies, but how we don't know if any of it's true? Because I think a lot of people want to know what's the way to not to predict what's going to do good in a way, and the right technology. But some of them are so similar with what they're trying to do, and everything's based off that blockchain technology, and they're some are developing new systems and trying to improve whatever field they're coming from. How can you narrow that down to, regarding the stories, to which ones are legit and to which ones later on in the future you find out that they don't do anything? And I know that's a loaded question and everything.
It actually is, and that's the question that everyone asks. It go based on reading the white paper. And going back and maybe using some common sense of what this a new coin or ICO is going to do or perform. You don't want something that's talks about a lot of things, but it doesn't do anything. But again, it is a gamble. This is everything's new. I think more and more later on with experience, probably all of us will understand what's considered a shit coin, or a good coin, you could kind of say. But again, all of us are new to this. But if you have to do your own homework, do your research, and so on. That's how I do it. I do my own homework, research, and maybe do my own little predictions based on
to the man,
TAs and so on.
Yeah, and we can't even say any predictions because it's not a financial show. We're not here to give advice, so we're not any experts by any means. I know there's a lot of shows that are always talking about their top currencies to watch for the coming year, for 2017, 2018. And just here, jumping from subject to subject, and even though I know this is a good show to talk about ourselves, we did think about doing that, right? Like looking at the top currencies to watch, to say which ones we thought were going to be the best ones leading from 2017 to 2018. But really, there's no way to predict what it's like a solid company or coin or token that you know is going to do good, regardless of what they might put out in the cryptocurrency news. We follow it every day, and we trade stories back and forth. We send emails to ourselves with links here and there, but we always have to research, because we always want to know what we're going to get ourselves into. It's just like the fake news, just like, for example, on social media, there's always a story of celebrities dying, and it turns out they're well and fine the next day. If that makes sense, though.
With time, I think we'll find out again what are good coins, and I think there's a lot of exciting ICOs
it's hard
out
not
there.
To get excited.
That people should look in. I think this is an opportunity where maybe poor people get rich.
You can
Maybe.
always do a daily trade. Even in the standard stock market, they've been heavily regulated, and right now we're kind of in our infancy. Yep. Infancy. Go ahead.
Correct, but the good thing about it is it's the beginning. You could go ahead and trip, land on your face, scorpion it, and get back up and learn from the mistakes, because it's the beginning, and hopefully it gets huge. You have other good news. You have JP Morgan talking about creating a Bible. JP Morgan Chase created a Bible. Just talking about pros and cons about crypto and so on, which is kind of what's interesting, because you have a big bank basically telling you it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be around. Just kind of be careful of the pros and cons.
Yeah, B of A, isn't it fighting it also, right?
B of A is worried that it's going to cost them to kind of keep up with crypto. That's another interesting story.
That's true. We
could have another episode and have a detailed, not detailed.
Yeah, that's a very good topic that we can probably talk about next time, because they're in the same boat as all the other banks. But not to get too into it, but they have been looking into cryptocurrency and currencies prior, right? They've been looking to see how they can use it to benefit, but they find out it's not the right time to do it. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, have you heard this story?
Yeah, but if we open that door right now, I think
that's true.
We're gonna go and talk for another 5 hours.
That's true.
We want to give these guys a quick another update of.
I think we should.
I don't know what else. Anything else you have?
We're talking way longer than we predicted, but I mean, what you can say, we're addicted. We're just fans, just like all the other people that are listening right now. I don't know. I think Rick Rock. I think that should be it. No.
Yeah. Just continue to look to our show. Let us know what you guys think. We'll go ahead and keep updating you guys on what's going on in the crypto world. That's what we're called, Crypto Watch. We'll go ahead and look out everything for you guys. Give you guys our opinion, and keep you informed.
And believe me, we're trying to improve our quality. Slowly, we're getting there. I apologize for the echo sound you might hear in some of the speech that's going through, but we're slowly but surely getting better. I think this is good.
I think we are.
Crypto Talk. You subscribe, hit the like button or the thumbs up or something like that.
The thumbs up and the thumbs up.
Leave a comment. Dislike it. I don't know. Talk shit on there. I don't care.
True. All right, crypto junkies and crypto noobs. Until next time.
Crypto Talk on Crypto Watch.